Thank you everyone to be here and welcome. And this is our fourth rendezvous, and this is really excited to be with you. So we took over a break over the summer, but now we're back and we're going to start. So for those who don't know me yet, my name is Valerie Legras. I'm the founder and creative director of SWADOH. And for those who know me, it's a great opportunity to show you how SWADOH continue to evolve and how it can become a meaningful part of your creative journey. So by launching this rendezvous, my goal is to host a conversation each month to bring you stories, insight, and inspiration from the world of interior design, art, and mostly exceptional craftsmanship. So really think of it as a monthly creative pause, a moment to share, inspire, and connect. And I love to see faces that are coming back each time. And so you can find the different theme of each rendezvous that we're going to approach each month under the SWADOH Manifesto website page. So right, I'm going to start sharing my screen, and we're going to start with about 35 minutes presentation, and then we will continue into a conversation, and I will welcome your thought question. So please use the chat. Do not hesitate to drop all your questions and thoughts, and I will be happy to address everything at the end, and the conversation will start. All right. So, sorry. So for those who joined our past rendezvous, you might remember I talked about how material has always been at the heart of SWADOH's story. And when I started this journey, I didn't want SWADOH to just be a resource. I wanted it to be a source of inspiration and a place designer could turn to not only for fresh ideas, but for access to incredible makers from my home country, France. Artists and artisans who have spent years perfecting their craft. And because creativity is not an island, my joys come from sharing and connecting. So today I want to show you more about how collaboration has shaped SWADOH. And every time I go back to France and spend time with our artists and artisans, it's such a special moment. It's a chance to really engage not only with them, but with their craft, with the material, to touch it, play with it, and explore. And I'm happy to take you behind the scenes of this collaboration to show you how these encounters spark creativity and shape collection and ultimately creates the kind of magic that SWADOH is all about. So the conversation I have with artists and artisans, I want to extend it to you, to designers like you. And designers who come to us are looking for more than just a product. They want meanings, distinction, and those special touches that makes a space unforgettable. And at SWADOH, our goal is to give you that possibility to offer your clients something that they cannot find anywhere else. And when artisan and designer work together from the start, it sparks new ideas and brings vision to life in a beautiful, lasting way. And that's really what SWADOH is about: imagination, meeting technique, and collaboration, creating beauty. So now let's have a look at a few moments from my last trip. All right, so how can that be inspired by the work of Morgane Barockel-Crew? We already reviewed her work as a fiber artist in our past rendezvous, but today I want to share more about the beauty of it. From simple thread to the loom and beyond, and it's mind-blowing. Think of it. On this picture, here you can see Morgane in her element, free to even shape the textile she weaved on rocks. So weave with metal, silk, and linen thread, and letting the natural form guide her hands. But what is more powerful is not just the material itself, it's Morgane's approach and philosophy. For her, weaving, it's a language without words, a way of reflecting on life and on nature. So in her work, every thread feels like it carries a memory. Just like in this piece, where the rock leaves its imprint on the textile. A tress, a mark that becomes part of the fabric itself. So together, they create something like a landscape. And look at this image. Don't you think this landscape is beautiful? And if you wonder, Morgane lives in Provence, so naturally, the pigments she used to dye her textile when she's weaving are coming from her region. So each time I step into Morgane's world, I feel absolutely transported. I'm surrounded by texture, color, and movement that feels timeless, yet full of life. And her work invites me to slow down and notice the little things. Things like how a thread bends, because we talk about weaving with metal thread, how the pigment settles, how the material itself seems to speak. And little by little, we are shaping a beautiful collection at SWADOH, and we are not rushing to produce more and more just to keep up with the market calendar or with the industry rhythm. Instead, we let inspiration be our guide. We allow collaboration to blossom and unfold into a fresh vision, into a creation that feels true, meaningful, and lasting. So let's look at one of the first creations I did in collaboration with Morgane. As you know, at SWADOH, everything begins with the beauty of the material, the gesture, the work, and intelligence of the hand. And that's really the essence of what we do. But our journey is not a solo one. We grow through collaboration, especially with creative and visionary people like you. And that's where the real inspiration happens. What you saw on the previous slide is the Selen Flushment, and it's a story that began in Morgane's workshop years ago, where I was drawn to the material, to a way it seems to glow with its own light. It was very magical, and I was so driven by it. So this is where the inspiration first took shape. But not long ago, a client came to us with a request. They love the Selen Flushment. They wanted to have it a little bigger. And we already thought about it, but it was kind of not knowing how to start, because if it looks simple, actually it's not as simple as it looks like. And to make it happen, I had to listen to the material, respect its limit, and also the limit of the artist, because the size of the loom is part of the limitation, and find ways to find a way to move forward without losing the beauty. So what started as an inspiration in Morgane's hand grew into a dialogue between the material, Morgane, SWADOH, and the designer. And together we're now bringing this vision to life, and step by step, in a way that feels natural and truly unique. So we are slowly improving and creating new things just by starting a discussion. So much beauty, and that's really defines what we am. It's just not the beauty of the final piece. It's also the story of the hands and the hearts behind it. So for us, the process is just as precious as the result. It's an ongoing conversation between designers and maker, between imagination and technique, between vision and reality. And this experience is truly enlightening for all of us. And the reason I speak about the Selen collection is because it is so meaningful for me to share that is at the very beginning of SWADOH, and this is the first really collaboration I did with Morgane, and she's been really at the heart of the genesis of SWADOH, and that's why this collection is close to my heart, because this is the first one. So from the very first time I stepped into Morgane's atelier, I could see the potential of her art, of her craft, and I hope you can see the same. And I want to remind you that Morgane has fully embraced her path as an accomplished artist, and this is really her strong path. And her destiny is not to focus on product design, but when she sees the right opportunity, she loves to collaborate. And the Céline collection is the result of a collaboration between an incredible talented artist and a designer. In that case, it was me, but it could be easily you. And through SWADOH, we opened the door to exclusive collaboration with artists and artisans whose talents and craftsmanship are at the very highest level. So earlier this month, while I was with Morgan, we explored a sculptural lighting concept that began from a conversation I had with a designer here in America. And this designer was looking for a large piece inspired by Morgan's art. And what is fascinating is that the material itself has a kind of autonomy. The metal thread takes shapes in unpredictable ways, sometimes surprising us with form we never planned. Silk and linen react to the natural dyes, and that is the beauty of working with this material. We cannot force them. We have to feel them, listen to them, and allow them to guide us. It is in that dialogue between the hand and the material that the artistry really emerges. And in this case, we will develop the fixture using a technique that is extremely simple and minimal, because the focus is really on the textile. And when I collaborate with our artists and artisans, I always want to make sure their voice and vision are respected. And I have, noticed that when we bring designer on, they have really understood this concept and really let the artist's voice shine through. And that's really appreciable. A few more pictures, just, there are this kind of moment that makes me, I have so much joy working with our artists and artisans. I just want to share. And I hope sharing these moments can also open doors for you, inspire you, and invite you to start a conversation. Voila, so we are going now to move on, explore another artist, another artisan, other collaboration that creates magic. So if you know SWADOH, or if you attended some of the past rendezvous, you know the work of Céline Wright. Céline is an artist who works exclusively with washi paper. Her workshop is located in Paris, and you might wonder why Japanese paper in Paris. Well, Céline spent her entire childhood in Japan. She learned the traditional technique of working with washi paper and fell in love with its softness, its translucent, its poetic quality, and today she brings that heritage into her Parisian workshop, blending culture and craftsmanship in a way that is truly and uniquely her own. Here is a beautiful detail from the fabrication process. So I love seeing the hand at work, the gesture, the rhythm, layer after layer. And it feels like a ritual, almost meditative. And there is something very therapeutic about it. And Céline's light fixtures are built with layers of washi paper, and each one carefully placed to shape the texture, the form, and the way the light shines through. It's very different. So depending on how the strips are layered or angled, the light diffuses its own unique way. And this gentle play of texture and transparency creates a mood that's always changing, soft, warm, and often surprising. So because Céline has mastered the art of working with washi paper for almost 30 years, designers and architects seek her out for more than just what she offers in her collection. They turn to Céline for sculptural lighting, unique, poetic, and unexpected. And more, we're going to see that in the slides that are coming up, Céline's continue to embrace her artistic path, experimenting and pushing the boundaries of her craft and of art. And let's start with this collaboration, a special fixture for a large hotel in the Bahamas. Let's talk about the process here. So after Céline exchanges about the client's vision, she starts sketching and creates delicate mini models. Then the next stage begins, the sculpting process. So you might wonder why, but it's because every new creation starts as a sculpture. Then, she has the sculpture she's going to create is going to be turned into a mold, and the layer of paper are going to be carefully applied on it one by one. So this is the moment when Céline embraces another dimension of her artistic journey, the sculpture. It's surprising, and I think I never presented that in the past rendezvous. Is I always talk about the layer of paper, but there is something that's happening before that is highly important. So the idea is transformed into volume, into matter that can be touched, shaped, and brought to life. So the drawing is about vision, but here the hands take over. And it is in this stage that her work acquires its first breath of life, the beginning of its transformation into the luminous, poetic object for which she is known. So you can see Céline here in her atelier. So again, her work goes really beyond function. And each piece is shaped by hand, layer after layer, with the same care a sculpture gives to stone or to clay. So she brings together her eye as a designer, a sensibility as a craftswoman, and her soul as an artist. So see the image on the right, that's a mini model Céline created, and on the left, you can see the actual light sculpture starting to take shape. And here is a close-up so you can really appreciate its beauty and the delicate detail, the layer, and the uniqueness that makes each piece one of a kind. And then comes the light. So the light softens through the layers, glowing as if the sculpture is breathing. It is in that balance between the paper and the lights that Céline's work finds its poetry. It's not just a light fixture anymore. It's becoming an experience, a moment of beauty. And you can appreciate here the final result of this collaboration. Now let's look at another example, voile, which means sails in English. It's a monumental light created for the Château Bechevel, an historic wine estate in Bordeaux, and where ships once lower their sails in respect as they pass by the fleuve Garonne. And this tradition became the inspiration for the sculpture. The majestic light placed in the heart of a sailor. You can see on the right side, this is where it's located. And it is, of course, made of washi paper sails. So one is covered in gold leaf, catching the light like a sun. And at the center rises the wooden grand-mât, and this is really the soul of a piece. Now let's explore one of Céline's largest scale, latest actually. This is the latest large-scale creation. I won't go into the sculpting process here. We already addressed that. And this is how central it is to our work. Instead, let's pause to appreciate the beauty of a finished piece. The image at the bottom on the left corner, it's the first mini model. And then you can see how it evolved into an outstanding piece of art. And behind the creation of this kind of sculpting lighting, there are always many, many technical challenges. So the research and development of each piece can take a long time. And I'm always impressed when I see Céline turn to traditional elements like rattan stick. You can see them at the bottom of the right image. The rattan stick to build the structure when needed. And that's the case. We're going to see it here in other picture. It's quite impressive to really try to respect the craft and the traditional Japanese influence she carried with her and really implement that in her work. It's also important to understand that her approach, it's a slow process, one that requires patience and cannot be rushed. And each step takes the time it needs. And that's what gives the final work its depth and authenticity. See the rattan here on the right image? This is what holds the three pieces together. I think it's absolutely brilliant and of course beautiful. And what I love in this image is the joy on Celine's face. So much skill, so much precision, all coming together to reveal excellence and uniqueness. And here we can see that the fixture is placed in a very traditional Parisian setting with a richly decorated ceiling full of molding and detail. And as you can see, it complements very well this sculpture that is really originated by the influence of a traditional Japanese work. So it's a nice dialogue that you can see, and it's absolutely stunning. So they really don't compete. It's really, they complement each other, and it's really beautiful. Now, I invite you as designer to let it inspire you and spark new ideas. So this fixture is made of three large elements. But what if we tried something different? Maybe just use one or two and arrange them in a way, we can shape something new. It's all about starting a creative dialogue with these pieces and let it lead you towards something new. It's really something to explore. And if you see, I just, on the image on the top right, I just flipped the shade and say, hey, maybe we could do something like that. Maybe that could be just a very simple light fixture. So yeah, it's really the kind of conversation that Celine loves to have. Now let's look at a very different kind of collaboration between Celine Wright and Tiffany Bouel, a French-Japanese artist. When I brought these two artists together, it sparked a true artistic exchange, blending their vision into something unparalleled. It all began with, a limited edition, what we call the Nozomi collection. It's a love letter to women, to the art of craft, and to the bridging of culture. So for this collection, Celine's Wright handcrafted diva fixture that you can see here simply became the canvas. And this led me to introduce you to the art of personalization. In this exceptional commission, artist Tiffany Bouel delicately painted a oiseau hanging, again from the collection, and transformed it into a poetic composition suspended in space. So this bespoke gesture turns light into art and every fixture into a singular statement. This is really the fruit of a custom request from one of our clients. And the designer chose the oiseau hanging light, but her and her own clients had also fallen in love with the Nozomi collaboration. So they envisioned a unique touch that would bring the two together for that project. Personalize the Celine's Wright light fixture and turn it into a piece of art. And this is the end result in a mid-century inspired environment. So I would like to emphasize that there are so many ways to create unique pieces. Yes, we can go through the entire journey of developing something entirely new, just like I showed you before, but we can also think creatively and with things that already exist by reimagining elements from the collection, mixing, adapting, or adding a personal touch. And you can create something really special and unique to you. Here is another invitation to explore what's possible using existing pieces from the collection. Creating magical moments, crafting moment of awe. And let's take the example of the Nuage collection, for instance. So you can see it used into two very different settings. In a restaurant in Dubai, and on the right, in a private residence in California. So the drawing I'm showing you on the right, it's what the designer originally sent us. They had a vision, and together we made it happen. And again, it's all about starting a conversation with us. So now let's talk about these beautiful little wall sconces, pleine lune, which means full moon in French. So it's, as I said, small. It has a diameter of 14 inches. But now if we look at the collection of Celine, the Zen collection, which is also round, Actually, you will see it comes in different sizes, a diameter of 18 inches, 24, 33, and even 44 inches. So how about we can imagine using the same mold from the Zen collection, and without going through the long and expensive process of making a new mold, simply just use it. And we could do this light fixture in a more larger scale. And of course, that will require some research and development and using a bigger rattan stick, which would be actually beautiful. But what I mean is I just want to share this example to simply invite reflection, to spark ideas about how we can push boundaries, adapt existing form, and dream up new possibilities. To conclude on Celine's right, I mentioned she's embracing more and more artistic journey. And in 2023, she spent 6 months in residence at Villa Kujuyama in Kyoto, immersing herself in Japanese traditional arts and furthering her technical exploration and deepening her craft, her research, and her dialogue between tradition and innovation. And as I speak to you right now, she's actually in Japan, and some of the images are coming from there. So it's a journey that, her creative journey that she's embracing more and more promises new creation, new collaboration, and new ways of transforming light into art. And lastly, I'm inviting you to briefly explore other type of collaboration with Lucie Touré, another beloved artist. And because the greatest design emerged from partnership, we are going to see a few of his collaboration here. On the left here, you can see Lise Decaune, master of straw marqueterie, alongside with Lucie Touré. I already introduced Lucie Touré in my previous rendezvous, so I'm not going to do it again. So if you want to watch a previous rendezvous, I invite you to do so to learn more about Lucie. But what I want to emphasize here is together they combine their talents to create beautiful decorative elements, touches that really elevate any piece of furniture or architecture. And you can see here on a mirror, it's embroidery on solid surface. I mean, no need for too many words here. It's just breathtaking, beautiful. And this is what collaboration can brings to our world. By showing you now this example, I want to show how discussion and collaboration creates uniqueness. For instance, Lucie did a collaboration with Louis Vuitton for a limited edition of a purse for Mother's Day in 2024, embroidery on leather. Then you can see in the middle with the embroidery on acrylic for SWADOH. We are developing and launching a new collection. And then you can see the mirror on the right. So it's just to show you that her universe and her craft is really can be extended to so many applications. In this beautiful, for instance, hand-painted headboard created directly on wood panels by Segreto Finishes in Houston, Texas. Actually, we decided to add some handcrafted flower to apply on the surface just to bring more depth and texture. And so it's a project we are currently developing the flowers. It's not final, but you can see that it's about amplifying the designer vision and creating something fully bespoke for the client. And if you look closely, on the right, you will notice this is the same type of enhancement used on a collaboration with a famous Guerlain perfume house. And Lucie did a lot of collaboration with Guerlain and came out with beautiful customization. Another example of adding a personal touch in a project here it's by Lornell Design in Boca Raton. And we look here at a detail from a vintage Cartier scarf and use it to, it was the inspiration to create a little moment of a touch of magic. So basically we extracted the flower from the scarf and just created hand gilded and embroidered flower, based on the scarf motif, and just bring a little moment of awe. And another project, unfortunately, it's a project that is confidential and I cannot show you a picture, but it is embroidery on window screen panels. It's a great example that how we can design a privacy element. It's just like having function with beauty. Is it a piece of art? Is it a window screen to bring privacy? Who knows? But it's just like adding beauty and also how can we add serve a purpose and where craft and function come together. Hopefully, I will be able to show you image of a final result one day. So at SWADOH, we really believe that great design is never done alone. And just like building a cathedral, it takes many, many hands and a shared vision. So in interior design, it's not just about the designer, it's the clients, the artisan, the maker, everyone matters. And what I love most is the quiet magic that happens when different people, each with their own skill, come together with one goal. And we are lucky to work with amazing artists and artisans, people who bring care and craftsmanship to every detail. And we are lucky to have an incredible community of designer, art consultants that are working with us at SWADOH, and we really love that. So voila, I would love to hear your thoughts, and for those who wants to learn more about the previous rendezvous, you're going to see that on the SWADOH manifesto we have 10 points, and we are going one by one through all the points. So you can find the video on this link. All right, well, thank you so much, and I really, really appreciate your time, and see you soon. And